So hi again to all of you, a blessed day. I'm praying that all of you are safe and doing well, especially in your studies, and you will be able to surpass the challenges of online learning. So this week, we will continue our topic on nutrition management of disease conditions. So last week, we talked about diabetes mellitus and cardiovascular disease and its diet therapy. So this week, we will discuss about pulmonary disease and renal disease. So under your pulmonary disease, we have a condition which we call chronic obstructive pulmonary disease or COPD. So in COPD, there is an abnormal enlargement of the right side of the heart as a result of the disease of the lungs or the pulmonary blood vessels. You know that yung right side of the heart mo, nandyan ang iyong pulmonary vein and your pulmonary artery. So yung pulmonary vein, nagkikarry siya ng unoxygenated blood na dadalhin niya doon sa iyong lungs, circulation for oxygen. Tapos babalik siya, dadalhin siya ulit going to the heart using the pulmonary artery para naman siya i-distribute to your body na meron na siyang oxygen. Okay. What are the risk factors of developing chronic obstructive pulmonary disease? Especially if you are exposed to air pollution. So, ano ba? Madumi yung air. Okay. Mga usok ng sasakyan. Or if you are living nearby factories na merong naglalabas ng mga usok, may mga chemicals. Okay. Or if you are a smoker, candidate ka na for COPD later on. And those who inhale second-hand smoke, diba? Yung mga second-hand smoke, pwede rin siyang mag-cause. Or those who are working with chemicals, dust, and fumes. Those who have genetic conditions called alpha-1 deficiency. And those who have history of childhood respiratory infection. So they are prone or they are risked for developing chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. So it is characterized, ito yung mga characteristics niya. It is also known as chronic obstructive airway disease or chronic airflow obstruction. So the presence of airflow obstruction, this is due to chronic bronchitis. So there is inflammation of the bronchioles or airway. Or emphysema, meron din damage ang alveoli. Okay? So the patient complains of weakness, nanghihina, which may add to the problem of not getting enough to eat. So konti, nawawalan sila ng ganang kumain. So that might lead later on to malnourishment. So what happens if the patient has chronic bronchitis? So as you can see in this picture, this is the bronchi. Okay, so what happened to the airway? There is an accumulation of mucus. Okay, so nagkakaroon ng blockage yan kasi malapot na masyado. Merong accumulation of mucus nga. May excess mucus that may also damage the cilia of your bronchi. And on emphysema, what happens? So this is the normal alveoli. So, pag damage na siya, and nag-enlarge na yung alveoli in emphysema patient, yung nagkaroon ng emphysema. The sign and symptoms, dyspnea on exertion, so difficulty of breathing, frequent hypoxemia, so masyadong mababa ang oxygen saturation, decreased forced expiratory volume in 1 second, and there is a destruction of the alveolar capillary bed. So the diet therapy for patient suffering COPD. So the goal of therapy is to balance the need for oxygen and elimination of carbon dioxide while correcting malnutrition problem. Kasi alam nga natin na may weakness sila bumababa or nagkakaroon din sila ng loss of appetite, nawawalan sila ng ganang kumain. Okay? So, on diet, these are the recommended nutrition or nutrients. For CHO, you have to give 40 to 50% of the total energy requirement. For protein, you can give 15 to 20%. For fat, 30 to 40%. For patient who are undernourished, pag sinabi natin undernourished, of course, you compute first the BMI. Okay, kapag below 18, so ibig sabihin, undernourished na yung patient. So, you have to give or you have to develop your meal plan considering high calorie or high calories. Okay. So, in computing for high calorie, you can use this formula. The BEE multiplied by 1.5 to 1.7. Okay. So, yung formula niyan on the next page, meron, or the next slides. Okay. So, this was also mentioned or discussed in our midterm. Okay. So, you can have or you can give high protein also, from 1.2 to 1.5 grams per kilogram. For obese client, okay, you have to control the calorie. So, calorie-controlled diet. So, this is now the formula of BEE. Please take note of this formula when you are designing a meal for a client suffering COPD. Okay. For adult, so the adult males, ito yung formula. And for the adult females, this is the formula. Okay? So, diet modifications. Paano natin i-modify yung diet? You can give soft diet. Bakit soft diet? Kasi wala na nga silang ganang kumain. Possible din, affected na rin ang kanilang digestion. Okay? No tough or stringy foods. Ano ba yung stringy foods? Yung pag kinain mo parang katulad nyo, mahahaba or sumasabit sa iyong lalamunan. Stringy foods kasi lalong mai-irritate yung kanyang pagkain nun. Mai-irritate ang kanyang esophagus na pwedeng mag-cause ng more caffeine dun sa client. No gas-forming vegetables. Bakit? Bakit hindi daw dapat hindi gas-forming vegetables? Ano ba yung mga gas-forming vegetables? Your cabbage, broccoli, potatoes, diba? Those are examples. Bakit hindi? Kasi, pag may gas, so dumadami ang air. So, nagkakaroon ng air sa abdomen. So, the more na magkakaroon ng pressure doon sa kanyang lungs, which may lead to a difficulty of breathing. May difficulty na nga siya, mas lalo pang magkakaroon ng difficulty of breathing kasi nagkaroon ng pressure doon sa kanyang lungs. You can advise the patient to use small, concentrated feedings at frequent intervals. So, kasi dahil wala nga silang ganang kumain, so unti-unting kain lang every now and then. Pwedeng pakainin mo siya every hour or every 30 minutes kasi konting-konti lang ang kaya niyang itolerate. You have to limit salt intake also and enrich the diet with antioxidants and omega-3 fatty acids. You can give supplements in the diet with vitamin A, ascorbic acid, and vitamin B complex. Para saan ba itong vitamin A? They are to boost the immune system para madaling makarecover yung body. Kasi prone sila na baka magkaroon pa ng more infection. Okay? And adequate fluid intake. Bakit kailangan mas marami ang intake for the patient suffering for a pulmonary disease? Okay. So, a fluid is very important for patients suffering pulmonary disorders because yung fluid it replaces insensible fluid loss. It can correct dehydration and if you reduce it, yung viscosity, di ba, merong yung mucus, pag konti lang yung fluid na itinitake niya, di lalong nagiging viscous yung kanyang mucus. So, para mas madali rin niyang ilabas, yung kanyang mucus or the flame. So, kailangan yung kanyang fluid intake ay i-increase for those patients. So, alam naman natin talaga na the fluid intake is very important in any kind of illness. Limit lang siya for those who are suffering with heart problem. So, another picture lang, no, yung pulmonary disease, those who are suffering with emphysema. So, this is what the lungs look like. So, the characteristics of emphysema, or what is emphysema? It is a degenerative disease that develops after many years of lung tissue exposure to cigarette smoke or other toxins that pollute the air. So, hindi lang yung smoker mismo, pati yung mga kasama niya sa bahay na nakakapag-inhale na second-hand smoke. So, possible silang mag-develop later on ng emphysema. Or destructive changes and overdistension of the pulmonary alveoli, and it can be inherited also, genetic. So the sign and symptoms of emphysema, there is shortness of breath, coughing up sputum, swelling of the hands and feet, pink skin, physically thin appearance, and barrel-shaped chest. Bakit pa nagkakaroon ng barrel shaped chest? Kasi barrel shaped chest usually occur in the later stage of disease. So later on na yun. So medyo matagal na nagkaroon ng respiratory problem. It occurs because the lungs are chronically overinflated with air. So, the rib cage stays partially expanded all the time. So, na-expand ang kanyang chest. So, nagkaroon ng barrel-shaped chest. I'm sure, alam nyo na to kasi na-discuss ko na to in our previous discussion during your first year. So, this is what COPD look like. Okay. Nagkaroon ng yung chronic airflow, may limitation, so possible mag-develop ng emphysema and chronic bronchitis. So, ano yung mga sign and symptoms na makikita nyo sa kanya? Okay? So, hindi na natin isa-isang hintong mga to. Okay? And then, the diet therapy for emphysema or diet modification. Again, soft diet din siya. High in nutrient density dapat. Give in small frequent feedings, the same when sa previous natin doon sa COPD kasi under nga naman ang emphysema. So, avoid pa rin yung gas-forming vegetables. Food, you should give food that is high in carbohydrates. And you have to increase the fluid intake to decrease the viscosity of the mucus at least 2 to 3 liters per day. So, restrict sodium intake to 2 to 3 grams per day. So, you can supplement vitamins and minerals. And you can give high protein supplements for snacks. So, for those who have tissue wasting, so ibig sabihin tissue wasting, pumapayat, okay? So, you can use this formula, the BEE, times 1.5 grams per kilogram. And protein, 1.2 to 1.5 grams per kilogram of the body weight. So, another problem or another pulmonary disease is the pneumonia. So, you are familiar with pneumonia. So, pneumonia is an acute infectious disease of the respiratory tract typically caused by the pneumococcus bacteria, resulting in the inflammation of the alveolar spaces of the lungs. So, the predisposing factors includes the following: malnutrition, fatigue, sobrang pagod sa work, exposure to polluted air, overexposure to extreme heat or cold. Diba? Kaya sinasabi natin, huwag kang hihiga sa sahig. baka magkatubig yung baga. Di ba yun ang sinasabi ng matatanda? Kailangan pag humiga ka sa sahig, meron kang sapin kasi very cold nga naman yung semento, lalo na paggabi. Or merong zinc deficiency. The signs and symptoms include the following: may difficult or painful respirations, may shortness of breath, ganon, chills and high-grade fever, may takip niya, may convulsions, malaise or body weakness, anorexia, abdominal, anorexia is loss of appetite, could have abdominal distension, may air, restlessness, may productive cough, could be painful and persistent, green or yellow sputum that progress to pink, brown, or rust color. That's the sign and symptoms of pneumonia. So, what is takip niya? So, when you say takip niya, there is a rapid breathing. So, increase, mataas ang respiratory rate compared to your normal, wherein your normal is 14 to 20. So, depende sa reference. May iba, 12 to 20. So, this is what happened to the patient who have pneumonia. Okay. So, may cough. Productive yung kanyang cough. So, nakita nyo yan. So, these are the symptoms. Okay. Hindi ko na rin isa-isahin to. So, I'd like you to watch these short clips. Okay. I hope it will play. Okay.
For caldereta, I only use Mamacita's caldereta mix. It gives that made-from-scratch taste.
Okay, let us now proceed to our next slide. Okay, so the diet therapy for those who have pneumonia offer at least 3 to 3.5 liters of water per day. Okay, should give high calorie, soft diet pa rin. For overweight, you can give a normal caloric intake. You can also give vitamins and mineral supplementation. So, adequate intake of fruits and vegetables, a source of fiber, potassium, and antioxidants is also recommended. So, another pulmonary disease, the tuberculosis. I'm sure you are very familiar with this. Okay, so ano ba ang usual? Paano masabi na may TB na siya? Okay, di ba merong cough? Merong cough of more than 2 weeks. May afternoon fever. Usually may weight loss. Yung blood, yung kanyang sputum, may strain of blood. Pinagpapawisan sa gabi. So, night sweat. So, these are the signs or sign and symptoms of pulmonary disease called TB. So the characteristics, it is a highly infectious chronic disease caused by the tubercle bacillus. Common among malnourished individuals living in the crowded area. So madali rin itong it is contagious. Often occurs in children of underdeveloped and developing countries. Especially in the Philippines, all of us are actually exposed to TB. The sign and symptoms, again, persistent cough for 3 weeks or more, may iba 2 weeks, blood-stained sputum, chest pain, masakit yun, may chest pain, loss of appetite and weight loss, night sweats, may fever and shortness of breath, may cough, radiographic evidence, and pulmonary infection. So, upon x-ray, makikita rin siya. So, how it is transmitted, no? This is the patient and people close to the patient. So, paano natin mapiprevent to? You can, pag merong case sa bahay, so at least naka-mask, naka-face mask. Okay. So, droplet nuclei of TB bacteria. Okay. So, ang size niya is microns in size. So, pwede mo siyang matransmit droplet. Okay? So, this is how a patient looks like, those who have TB. So, actually, most of them ay pumapayat talaga. The diet therapy, you can give protein 1.2 to 1.5 grams per kilogram. You have to remember dahil may tissue wasting ang client with TB. And the calories, 1.5 times the normal needs. Kung ano yung na-compute mo the TAR. And you can recommend or you can give calcium, iron, vitamin C, and vitamin B complex. And use adequate fluid, at least 2 liters per day. So let us now move on to another disease, our second topic for this week. So the renal disease. We're done with your pulmonary disease. So an example of renal disease is the glomerulonephritis, or there is an inflammation of the glomeruli. Okay? So in the kidney. So ano pa ang function ng iyong glomeruli? So when we say glomeruli or glomerulus, you are referring to a network of blood capillaries that is cup-like and or tinatawag na Bowman's capsule of the nephron, where the waste products are filtered from the blood into kidney tubule. So, yan yung function na yung glomeruli. If there is an inflammation, it is a life-threatening and requires immediate treatment. So, what happened to this patient who have glomerulonephritis? Okay. So, nagkakaroon ng headache, pwedeng tumaas ang BP, may facial or periorbital edema, lethargic din, may low-grade fever, may weight gain, or may edema. So, mayroon din proteinuria, hematuria, oliguria, and dysuria. Okay? Okay. So, another renal disease, what we call the nephritic syndrome. So, what is the difference between the two? The nephritic syndrome and the nephrotic syndrome. Okay. So the nephrotic syndrome, it is usually, the nephritic syndrome is usually caused by infections or immune systems disorder and inflammation of the blood vessels. So the main symptoms of nephritic syndrome, there is less urine than normal. So may oliguria, may inflammation of the glomeruli, may hypertension or increase ang BP, then there is a cola-colored urine or hematuria. So may parang may blood dun sa urine. And the Buerger's disease is the common cause of primary glomerulonephritis. While the nephrotic syndrome There is hypoalbuminemia, hypo, konti lang ang albumin, hyperlipidemia, and there is a massive proteinuria, and also there is peripheral edema. So, pag sinabi natin nephrotic syndrome, it is a kidney disorder that, of course, that's why it causes your body to pass much protein. Kaya may proteinuria. Okay? So, the nephrotic syndrome is usually caused by damage of the clusters of the small blood vessels in your kidneys that filters the waste and excess water from your body. So, how it is diagnosed na merong nephrotic syndrome? Through urine test, blood test, and kidney biopsy. So, the characteristics of nephrotic, it is referring to nephrotic syndrome. It is a symptoms, or it is a group of symptoms that occur with some disorder that cause glomerulonephritis or swelling and inflammation of the glomeruli in the kidney. The signs and symptoms are hematuria, proteinuria, hypertension, blurred vision, and oliguria. So, that is the signs and symptoms of, the nephritic syndrome. So, this is the pyramid for those patients suffering with glomerulonephritis. Okay. Choose low-salt foods from all the categories. So, ito yung mga low-salt foods from the categories. So, yung nakalagay dyan kung ilan dapat ibibigay ninyo. Like, for example, for the vegetable, you can give 1 medium fruit, 1/2 cup fresh frozen or canned fruit. So, merong specific measurement na pwede nyong i-follow in preparing your meal plan or meal presentation. So, renal disease or the renal failure. So, mas mahirap na to. Kung kanina may inflammation, dapat na-actionan mo na kaagad because yung glomerulonephritis could lead to renal failure. You have to remember, like, balikan natin yung nephrotic syndrome. Yung nephrotic syndrome, there is no cure for that. Okay? Wala siyang cure. But the doctor might tell the patient to take certain medicines to treat the symptoms and to keep the damage of the kidney from getting worse. So, may medicine. Okay? May medicine to help control the blood pressure and cholesterol. May medicine to help the body get rid of extra water to control blood pressure and control swelling. So, yun yung sa nephrotic syndrome. So, dapat makontrol pa lang doon kasi if not, it might lead to renal failure. So, it can be caused by toxic injury to the kidney or severe hemorrhage after burns or injuries. May shock, transfusions, use of antibiotics. Okay? So, yung paulit-ulit na ginagamit ang antibiotics, kaya takot na takot tayo because it might damage the kidney. Especially din yung mga nagki-keto diet. Diba? Ito mataas, maraming protein. So, may hirapan din si kidney. In poisoning, especially with heavy metals like mercury, cardiac transplantation, or sepsis. So, the diet therapy for those suffering with acute renal failure. Maintain adequate fluid balance. Balance is critical. Fluid intake should be equal to urine output plus 500 to 750 ml. So, kung ang urine output niya 500 lang. So, 500 plus 500. Oh, that is 1,000. So, remember ka rin siya 500 to 750. Kasi I might question you in your exams na papasok dyan sa range na yan. Okay, titingnan nyo kung alin dyan ang papasok. Restrict sodium amount to 20 to 40 milliequivalent per day. Provide sufficient calories at least 3,000 to avoid metabolism of protein stores. Okay, para hindi ma-metabolize yung protein. Kasi lalo may proteinuria, di ba? Protein limit to 0.25 grams per kilogram. So, sa renal, napapansin nyo, mababa ang recommended dose for the protein. Unlike naman doon sa may pulmonary problem. Bakit? Kailangan nila mas mataas ang kanilang protein kasi meron silang tissue wasting. Limit diet to 25 to 40 milliequivalent of potassium. For chronic renal failure, or also known as the end-stage renal disease, you have to restrict the protein to 60 to 90 grams per day, especially if the GFR or the glomerular filtration rate is 20 to 25 ml per day. 40 to 60 grams per day for those who have 0.5 to 0.65 grams per kilograms IBW when the GFR is 10 to 15 ml per day. You have to provide also sufficient calories to avoid metabolisms of protein stores. Provide foods with essential amino acids. So this is your patient with chronic renal failure. So what happened? Ito yung kanyang GFR is below 15 ml per minute. Okay. Naka-hemodialysis. So, ano ang mga nararamdaman niya? May psychological withdrawn behavior changes, hematological anemia, yung skin niya dry, flaky, may pruritus, ecchymosis, purpura. Yan pangati, may skin problem. Musculoskeletal niya, nakakaramdam ng cramps, kulang na lang calcium, no? Renal osteodystrophy, bone pain, may mga bone pain na rin. Sa neurological, may weakness, may fatigue, may confusion. Sa cardiovascular, tumataas ang BP, may pitting edema, may periorbital edema, increase yung CVP or yung kanyang kanyang CVP and pericarditis or the central venous pressure, CVP, okay? May pulmonary. Sa pulmonary, may shortness of breath, depressed cough, may thick sputum. Sa GI, so halos lahat, no? Lahat ng system affected. Ammonia odor to breath, metallic taste, mouth or gum ulceration, may anorexia, nausea, and vomiting. So the goal of diet therapy for patients suffering with renal problem is to eliminate the underlying renal and pre-renal causes and correcting or controlling the physiological and biochemical abnormalities associated with kidney dysfunction. So, use of exchange reasons to relieve potassium intoxication. So, another renal disease or nephrolithiasis, or also called renal calculi. So, may bato, no? There is an increased incidence in male over age of 40. So, merong nausea and vomiting din. Hematuria. The pain, may pain doon sa the tracheids in the flank area. So, sharp, sudden, severe pain may be intermittent depending on the stone movement. So, yan. So, the risk factors or etiology includes infection, urinary stasis, immobility, hypercalcemia, increased uric acid, increased oxalate level. So, diagnosis naman, urinalysis, and so on and so forth. So, the characteristics ng merong renal calculi, it is the formation of renal or urinary calculi in the urine that precipitate as stones in the urinary passage. So, as you can see in this picture, this is the kidney stone. So, nandito yung kidney stone. O, nandyan. So, talagang painful yan. Bumabara doon sa ureter. Aside from painful, hindi makalabas yung yung pag-filter ng ng blood, tapos yung ihi affected. The diet therapy, increase fluid intake. So, and the diet according to stones. Kung ano yung present na stone, anong klase yung stone. So for those who have calcium oxalate stone, you can give low calcium, low phosphate or oxalate. Calcium foods, mainly dairy products, are eliminated, like beets, nuts, chocolate, strawberries, tea, wheat bran. Increase potassium, rich in foods. Okay. For uric acid stones, remember your low purine diet. So protein is limited to 56 to 67 grams per kilogram. Okay. Organ meat, whole grains, and legumes. Ayan ang dapat iiwasan ng may mga uric acid. Kasi mataas ang uric acid na organ meat, whole grain, and legumes. For those who have cystine stones, protein restriction. Meron siyang protein restriction. Meat, milk, egg, cheese, and high fluid intake dapat. So that actually ends our topic for this week. So I hope you learned something from that. Okay? So let me end this presentation by reading this quote. Today, a reader, tomorrow, a leader. Okay, so galingan ang pagre-read because when you read, you are learning. You are gaining more knowledge. So God bless you all.